welcome back to our cross stitch channel, Stitching a Little. In today's video I wanted to show you what would be the conclusion of the section 11. The section 11 is basically the concept that we start a new cross stitch project the 11th of each month. We will stitch on that project for as long as we can, depending on the time that we have during the month, and then the following month, once we hit the next day 11th, we will let that project go and start a new one all the way up to August 11th. So now that it is already August 11th, the section 11th of this channel has officially come to an end. It was a very nice experience for us. So without further ado, I'm going to be showing you all the projects that we were able to stitch. So if you are interested, feel free to grab your cup of coffee or cup of tea, and let's get started with the video. Okay, so we're going to start off with the first projects that we stitched, and we started this section with the designs of a specific cross stitch designer that we admire very much. We really like all of the designs that she has, and her name is Maria Diaz. We actually have a magazine of a lot of her designs. It was a collection. We bought that one at a nearby craft store called Hobby Lobby. We got it on clearance. And we have an entire video in which we share more information about that book. If you're interested, we'll link it down below in the description box. I'm going to start off by showing you my mom's project, and it's this one that you see over here. As you can see, she started from what would be the fist of the baby, and this is what she was able to stitch. I will be putting here on the screen the specific type of fabric that this is, just because I don't want to mispronounce it, but I believe it is a type of Lugana, I'm not sure, or it's maybe an even weave. As you can see, it's a very beautiful design, and it is in a sepia theme. It's basically a little newborn baby. Hopefully you'll see it good on the camera, but the tone of the color is like a vanilla. It's a very like ivory type of color, and it suits very well with the design. Now I'm going to be showing you what would be my project, and I'm not sure if you can see here. Maybe it shows a little bit on the camera, but this is a 14 count Aida, and it's basically like opalescent because it has kind of like a shimmer to it. It's one of my favorite Aidas, especially for what would be Christmassy themed projects, because it does have that glitter or that sparkle. So you can see that in my case, my design is basically of a little kitten in the snow, surrounded by those Christmassy colors. And once you take into account that the fabric itself has silver specks as well, it gives all those Christmassy vibes, and I really enjoyed it. It's one of the projects that I enjoyed the most. Once again, this one isn't a 14 count Aida. We really enjoyed them. We're huge fans of Maria Diaz designs, so this was one of the projects that we enjoyed the most. Now I'm going to be showing you the second projects that we stitched. Okay, so next we did some Christmas ornaments. You'll be seeing the design here on the screen as well. And as you can see, we chose a very similar design. In my mom's case, she chose what would be Santa Claus. And this is being stitched on a canvas 14 count. We never stitched on canvas before. We did use what would be shimmery DMC flosses for this top part over here. My mom basically designed herself what would be that top part, which will be imitating the metal parts of the ornaments. The design itself does not have that. That is something that we added as a personal touch, because we do want to hang these on the Christmas tree. And then in my case, I started the snowman, and we're almost done with them, but once again, they're missing embellishments, they're missing some backstitch, all the embellishments, and we do want to frame them very nice to put on the Christmas tree for this year. Hopefully you will see these already framed and hanged in the Christmas tree for the time of this year's Christmas. Okay, so next we did some bookmarks of the brand Cuore Baticuore. I'm not sure if you pronounce it that way, but it is a French designer, I believe. And these are the bookmarks that we stitched. As you can see, we did not finish them as well. This is what we were able to do in that month time frame, because keep in mind that we also were stitching other projects as well once, although we were doing the section 11. So this is my mom's, and she chose what would be the month of January, which is a snowman. And it's so gorgeous. She also chose to do it in a blue 14 count Aida fabric. It already came tinted like that, and I chose, I believe it was the month of March. And in my case, it was a house, a pink house, and I really like it as well. We did enjoy them, and hopefully we will finish these because reading is something that we really like to do. Yeah, we want to finish these as well. And they're both in 14 count Aida. Mine is in a mustard color. It came in this color. Now I'm going to be showing you the other projects. I'm going to be putting the name of the designer here on the screen, but they're basically from the same collection. So in my mom's case, she was stitching what would be the pink bunny, which is so beautiful. As you can see, this is what she was able to stitch. I will be putting the material of the fabric here on the screen. They're both very similar, but they are different fabrics. And they both came in the color that you see here. So we did not dye them at home. They actually came in this color. And in my case, I stitched what would be the raccoon. We thought that this was a good color for the raccoon because it's also in the winter time. And that's how much I was able to stitch. So we really liked stitching this as well because I believe it was the first time that we tried stitching on this type of fabric. And they're very similar. But they're both very nice designs, and they were very different from the designs that we had on our collection. So for the next project, we have two little bunnies which are winter themed, and we did dye this fabric here at home as well. I'll show you what my mom started stitching. As you can see, she started from the face of the bunny. As you can see, this is the dimension of the project. You'll be seeing the exact measurements here on the screen, but it's a very good size. It's not that big of a project. This fabric has actually turned into one of our favorite fabrics for cross stitch. You'll be seeing the exact name for this fabric here on the screen and the exact count. And it's honestly our favorite fabrics ever since we tried it. Now in my case, it's the same dye, it's the same color. We just divided the fabric in two. This is how much I stitched. As you can see, I started in my case from the hat and I worked my way down towards the face, but I didn't finish as well. Alright, now as you can see, they are both winter themed and we love this project very much. Okay, so now I'm going to be showing you two Riolis designs, and you're going to hear a lot of the times in this video the word favorite because we wanted to try new things, and Riolis has become, once again, one of our favorite brands here at home. In my case, my two favorite cross-stitch brands at the moment are Riolis and Magic Needle. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you my mom's Riolis project first. In my mom's case, she started what would be the lioness and the cub. It's this cutie that you see over here. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. This is a beautiful project that we really enjoy. And this one, once finished, will be measuring 22 by 38 centimeters. As you can see, it comes with wool thread. Most of Riolis projects use wool thread. That's something that they're known for. This is how much she stitched of the project. And she started from what would be the face of the lioness. I mean, it's so beautiful. Once again, keep in mind that it is being stitched with wool thread, wool floss. And in our opinion, it's actually one of our favorite flosses. We don't have any problem with them. They do have fame in the sense that most stitchers say that either you love wool flosses or you hate them. And in our case, we honestly really like stitching with wool flosses. And she is stitching it in a 14 count Aida fabric, and the background is white. Okay, so in my case, I'm also doing a Riolis, and I'm also stitching in a 14 count Aida fabric, but I did switch the fabric that it came with for one of the 14 count Aidas that we had here at home. Once finished, it will measure 41 by 23 centimeters, and I am stitching this one in what would be Anchor flosses, and this was my first time stitching in Anchor flosses. And I honestly can say that I really enjoyed the experience. I did not have any problem with them. On the contrary, I fell in love with them because they have kind of like a satin material and they're very good to stitch with. I am also stitching in a 14 count Aida, and this is how much I was able to stitch. Honestly, I really enjoy it. The color of the 14 count Aida is like in an ivory color. And just to show you very quickly what would be the flosses, they kind of have like a shine to them. Honestly, they're very good to stitch with. Okay, now I'm going to be showing you some Anna Petinova designs that we started. In my mom's case, she started this beauty over here, which is the two ducks in what would be the boat on a date. I'll be putting the exact size of the Aida count here on the screen, or the fabric count here on the screen. But it's turning out beautiful. It's very like spring themed. It's very romantic. I love the colors, how vibrant they are as well. Okay, in my case, I'm using the same count of fabric, and I started this design that you're seeing here on the screen. There are the two ducks as well, and it's very romantic. It's a very romantic design as well. And something to note about these two designs is that we're stitching them on CXC thread or CXC flosses. We do have a collection of them here at home, so we like to use them up every once in a while, and they're very good to stitch with in our opinion. They're a very budget friendly type of flosses. Okay, now I'm going to be showing you other projects, and these are from two separate brands. So in my case, I started a project from Janlin, and Janlin is one of our favorite brands as well. I am stitching it in a 14 count Aida from DMC Charles Craft, and this one is basically like an ivory color. Hopefully the camera will reflect it a little bit. And I started from the face of the little girl. It does have a variety of different stitches, especially when it comes to the nose, to be able to achieve that round effect. So do keep that in mind if you want to start Janlin projects. Some of them do have a variety of different stitches, and this is what my first ever Janlin project that I've stitched, and I absolutely fell in love with her designs. Okay, so in my mom's case, she started a project from Oven. I believe that's how you pronounce it. As you can see, she started from the little coffee cup, and you'll be seeing, as you can see here in the design that you're seeing on the screen, it's basically all sepia, except that it has touches of red, and it's very beautiful, especially if you're a fan of coffee. This is a very beautiful project to have. And I'm not sure if she's stitching it on a 16 count Aida or an 18 count Aida. I'll put it here on the screen. What would be the design of the fabric is a rustic Aida. Rustic Aidas are one of our favorites as well because they're not a white background. They're a little bit more toasted, and it's something that we are really fond of. Okay, next I'm going to be showing you what would be kind of like a nursery type of theme. And these are both from the brand MP Studia. We did dye these fabrics here at home. I believe we used a pearl gray color. I'm not sure if we mixed it with another color, but I'll be showing you my mom's design. This one is basically like the boy nursery, and you'll be able to put the date of the birth. You'll be able to put in the weight as well, how much the baby weighed. She started from what would be the cabinets where the books are, where the teddy bear is, and she did the French knot and the back stitch of that little corner, and it's turned out beautiful. It's very tiny. I'm not sure if this is a 16 count or an 18 count Aida. You'll be seeing it here on the screen either way. And I did what would be, I started from the little giraffe because I'm doing the baby girl nursery, and this is how it's turning out. I did not finish the entire giraffe, but I did start from this corner of the design, and I'm not sure if you're going to be seeing it very well in the camera, but you can see that it's kind of like a grayish, light gray color, and it mimics kind of like a marbled effect. We were able to achieve that dyeing the fabric here at home. Alright, now let's move on to the next project. Alright, so for the project that I'm going to be showing you now, we did kind of like an experiment, and we tested out these color variation flosses. You might have heard of them. In our case, we tried out the DMC ones, and you'll be seeing a picture here on the screen of the exact number of the floss variation that we used. As you can see, this is how it turned out. We have not finished as well. Keep in mind that we were only supposed to stitch these for what would be a month. Sometimes we stitched more, sometimes we stitched less, depending on the time that we had. In my mom's case, this is the design that she chose, the one that you're seeing here on the screen. In her case, she chose the peacock tree, I think, and it's turning out very good. I mean, if you ask me, I think that it looks very well, especially the colors that she chose as well. It's kind of like some light and dark purples, and it slowly starts turning into a greenish lime color. You'll be seeing the size count of the Aida fabric here on the screen. And once again, this one is in a rustic fabric. In my case, I chose this one. I think it's the one of the butterflies. You'll be seeing the picture here on the screen as well. And in my case, it starts from like a coffee color, and it slowly starts turning into light blues and darkish blues, kind of like a teal jean color. I really like it as well. And this design is from Owl Forest. I believe it was originally intended to be like a calendar, one for each month. So we chose these two. You'll be seeing the cover of the Owl Forest design here on the screen. Okay, so now I'm going to be showing you a stamped project that we chose, and it's very particular because they're both Halloween themed. So for the fall autumn season that is coming, and my mom stitched what would be the pumpkins. This is basically a Joy Sun-Dye kit. It always comes with all the flosses, and these are CXC flosses, and these are basically like a dupe for the DMC flosses. So hopefully you can tell on the camera, this is what my mom has been able to stitch. So she basically started these two pumpkins. Keep in mind that it is missing some backstitch and some embellishments or French knots. She's also missing the last pumpkin, but we do want to finish these for the Halloween season. Here you can see it in better detail on the picture. And this one, once finished, will measure 30 by 15 centimeters, and she is stitching it on a 14 count Aida. Alright, now in my case, I'm stitching what will be the cupcakes. So these are Halloween cupcakes. So they're both, as you can see, in the Halloween theme. And I started the first cupcake, but I did not get to finish what would be the back stitch, and I'm missing a few details. I'm not sure if this one requires French knots. I think it does. And as you can see it here on the cover, this is what the design will look like once finished. I'm also stitching it in a 14 count Aida, and it will measure 29 by 15 centimeters once finished. So they basically have a very similar size. And as you can see, these are my flosses. Alright, next we have a very special project for both of us, and they mean very much to us. This is basically a design that we started from a magazine, a Spanish magazine. You'll be seeing the portrait of that one here on the screen. And we started two initials. We originally want to make what would be some pillowcases. So that is the purpose of them once we finish them. And we're stitching both of them on 14 count Aida fabric in an ivory color. And we are using what would be the Perlé cotton DMC. This is a special DMC floss, and it was our first time ever stitching it. It's very much thicker than the original floss you usually stitch with. And this is how much my mom has been able to stitch. As you can see, she started what would be the V initial, and that is for my grandfather. So this one is dedicated to him. And then in my case, I started what would be the N initial for my grandmother. And a fun fact about this one is, funny thing is, I started it and unfortunately I had to frog everything that I stitched. because I miscalculated the fabric. I didn't give myself enough space, so I had to start again, but I was almost starting the end. Although I did frog, I started again, and this is how much I stitched. And we're both using the same color of the perlé, and we got this for 10 cents each. So these two balls were 20 cents in total, and it was a very good price because they were on clearance, and we're basically using like a red wine color. Alright everyone, that was all for the section 11 of the channel. We hope that you enjoyed. If you have any questions for us, feel free to let us know down below in the comments section. We'd love to answer any of your questions. We're thankful for all of you that have subscribed to our floss tube. We share a lot of cross-stitch content, and we're very glad to have you over here with us. Thank you all once again, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye!